Hello and welcome to all my fiber friends. This is the Unseen Strands Podcast, where I, your fiber sister, is legally blind, visually impaired, low vision, blind, whichever term you decide to choose to use. I am your connection to that world and give you a perspective from a blind person's lifestyle in the fiber arts and other little bits and pieces from the rest of my life. This is going to probably turn into kind of a weekly podcast. I kind of want to change the format up a little bit and cover different things throughout the week. And so I think, or different things throughout the month. So I think what I'm going to do is Mondays are going to be kind of the first Monday of the month is going to be what I want to make going into this month. The cows I'm trying to see what I'm planning for and joining up because some of them are monthly, some of them are not, but we'll see. So that's kind of the idea there. Then towards the end of the month, maybe putting together all those things that I purchased. Although I will say last month, at the end of the month, I did record something last week, but I really want those stash enhancement videos to be their own video and to be on video and not this audio format. I was not able to, however, get the video editor to work for me in a way that was useful. So that is why we have a little break here for a week, and we'll go into that. And then I would like to cover just some other random topics in the in-between. But like I said, next week, probably look for that stash enhancement for the month of April, since I wasn't able to do that this particular month as things happened. And then, of course, the beginning of May, there was a little bit of stash enhancement. I probably won't have a stash enhancement every month. I don't usually purchase a whole lot. It's just this time of year, there could be some things purchased as, Mother's Day, although that probably was this past weekend was kind of the Mother's Day, because it was yarns that the children decided to pick out for me when we went to Joann's. But Joann's, as we all know, is going out of business, so there'll probably be a couple more trips down to Joann's, before they officially shut their doors and close for good for us. But we'll just kind of continue onwards and talk about the journey, so to speak, as a crafter. And I do want to also get up some of those tutorials that I mentioned that is kind of the direction I guess I want to go, kind of make this an all-inclusive, all-encompassing, maybe throw in some financial education in there too. For those that did not know, part of my adventure away from YouTube was I am studying to become an accredited financial counselor. I'm currently a financial counseling candidate, and I just have to work on those 1,000 hours of experience to get my certificate, as I have passed the examination to actually be certified. So I'm a financial counselor at the moment, but I'm not accredited as a financial counselor at the moment. So I am also a YNAB, or You Need a Budget, certified spendfulness coach, which is something I got last summer. Anyways, the craft chat is not what you're here to hear about, the financial chat. So that'll be its own little thread. Maybe not a loose thread. I'll think about something that will work as a fun title for those things. Although they can kind of go into crafts, I probably will start to tie them in. I've seen a lot of things about crochet and amigurumis and the resale market, so to speak, going to craft shows, going to all those things, and of course the spending what you can afford at these liquidations and so forth. So I do think some of these might have a little bit more of a financial spin. So hopefully you'll stick around and listen in for where we go in the future as we go there. But let's go ahead and sidetrack or segue, that would be a better word, into what I am planning to make for the month of May and things that are currently going on. So to start off, I am or at least I had been a participant of the pen, hook, and needles craft-alongs and things that had gone on in the past. Again, with my kind of adventure away from paying attention to the crafty world, I hadn't actually participated in any, and they have moved off of Ravelry and have their own free forum site. I'll try to remember to link that either in the notes, or I do hope to actually start a blog where I can have all of these little show notes and places for you to visit. Otherwise, just get a hold of me. I can send you a link, and you do have to set up an account to join there. But they, in the springtime, always run, or have run since I've known of them, a autism awareness along, which is all the bright things. I guess I should have looked to see what they're actually calling it right now. But it is for all the bright things, all the rainbow and that kind of thing. And so I thought for that, I am currently working on a pair of Beach Blast Barbie socks for my husband. I do have one finished. I did not start this until last month. I believe this particular along runs from April to June 30th. So between April and July, basically. And yeah, so I have a lot of things I do are bright. I do have another item that I will share with you in a finished objects kind of weekly, or part of this series of us going forward, that I plan to put into that along as well, as it does have pretty shiny purple and bright orange as part of the features. So I think it'll also go as a good thing for that along as well. I apologize for my stopping and starting. I got myself in a coughing fit, and of course, my drink of choice is not your normal drink of choice for these crafty podcast worlds. I do am sporting a 24-ounce bottle of Mountain Dew, which will be my drink for at least the day, if not longer. But that is the drink of choice in this house, because it can be drunk, either warm or cold, or be safe with a lid on top and a twisty cap, and easier to hide from the children because sometimes they decide to walk over and take a swig of mom's drink. And so we just kind of move that out of places where everybody else gets to share. But again, the Beach Blast Barbie was, I believe, by Interlacements. That is a yarn I picked up at the Shepherd's Harvest Festival, which takes place Mother's Day weekend in Minnesota. Sadly, this year I'm not going. This is the first year since, well, besides COVID, this is the first year we haven't got up for a while, but we started attending this before COVID, so it's kind of sad that we're not going this year. But other good things coming, so that's all that matters. Another along that I will be participating in, and this kind of happened by accident, although you could say it probably wasn't quite by accident, is I did start picking up with listening to all of the old channels that I already had on my player, which I'm surprised at how many of you are still going on and still going strong. But Happy Crafty Homemaker, which is Carrie Penny, has her Spook Your Spring along going on, and I have a bag here of yarns that I have wound, caked up for socks, and haven't started yet. And I was needing to put a new sock onto one of my needles. I have two pairs, or two sets of the Red Lace Zero Chagu needles, and I usually have one on one, and then I have another one that kind of is the project that sits around, just kind of gets worked on here and there, and I needed to put something on that, so I dug through that bag. I only had 3 caked up in there. Now I'm back up to 5, but I had 3 caked up in there, and I went, I am going to do this one, and the kids I have a tag on there also, but I had them look at which one I should work on to look at the colors, and they're like, oh, this one has this color, this color, this color, because I did not mark those colors when I decided to put them in the bag or make the tag for it. And I picked out the Trick or Treat. So that is a yarn. It's a 75-25 merino nylon that we got last year on a road trip, and that is from Wool Market. So that was a store that we visited somewhere around Biloxi, Mississippi, and that was something we picked up as a family, as our road trip. I was kind of thinking, I always do just a pair of socks for my husband in these colors that he's picked out, but part of me was like, oh, this yarn was, a road trip with all of us. I kind of would like to do something for all of them, but I'm not going to have a whole lot of yarn left over once I finish his. And if I had more of the Wool Market yarn, or that particular base, which feels a little different than the other bases that I typically used. So I'm not even comfortable with just kind of mixing and matching from other things in my stash. I was like, I'd really like to kind of make that into something for everybody, but we'll at least get through the pair of socks, and then maybe I can crochet some little friends or something out of what remains from that particular yarn. But that's what I'll be working on this month for the Spook Your Spring. I do have some fun stitch markers. I think that was November last year. I got from Wired and Woven. She's one of my favorite stitch marker makers. She's someone in my local area that has been at the Sticks and Strings retreat and several other of the local things that we go to. And she had last year a kind of a witchy bundle. It had a witch's broom, a witch's hat, and then a couple of these little ball, I don't know what you would call them. They're just little round ball charms, and they're just really fun. And I was excited because I had already matched that with that particular yarn, and then I realized, hey, it's the Spook Your Spring time. So it kind of was by accident, but maybe my subconscious was kind of going, oh, you should work on this because you can put it into that particular along. I know there are a couple other alongs that are going on. I might try, there's someone, I don't remember if she has a podcast or not. It is someone on Ravelry that has a group that's Bling Your String, and they do a bingo where you set up a bingo card of different things you want to accomplish in your crafty lifestyle, and then track that throughout the year. And I think I need to get that moving so I can start checking off some of these items as I finish projects, although it doesn't have to be a finished object. It just has to be in the terms that you've agreed upon, and you can't shuffle your board around, of course, to make bingos. But that is something I'll also probably get started here in May so that I can start working on some of that. Also for the autism, the autism along, I started spinning a fiber that I picked up at the it was on LYS Day, although I was not at a local yarn store. I was at a vendor's thing that was done by the Des Moines Spinners and Weavers Guild, and I started spinning on that. It's a very pretty ocean blue color. I mean, it's called ocean. And so I think that would also be a good contestant to be into that along, but I don't spin super fast. I am using my eel wheel, which makes it a little faster, but I don't perceive in having that done probably within the time frame. So we'll see where we get to with that one. Along with all of that funds, I know Flame and Fiber, I think, has the Joyous along. That is another one that you can do over on Ravelry, and that is to post the things that are creating you joy. And so that is one I haven't specifically picked out things to work on yet, but I will be. And that is something that is just randomly posting throughout the month. And then I think she's picking out winners every month. I'm not exactly sure on what her time frame is for that. She's another one of those podcasters that I picked up from a long time ago. And I know there are some other threads that are monthly sock knit alongs, and so I'll probably be jumping in a couple of those since, of course, I always have the socks going on. And the other things, I do plan on making some stuffies. That's kind of where the kids came along, and I just got to figure out patterns. So if you have pattern suggestions for different amigurumis, stuffies, my husband has a 3D printer. I don't know how well 3D printed safety eyes work, but we might play with it a little bit. they're not something we would ever sell because they're 3D printing plastic is very porous and not good for getting wet and that kind of thing. So I don't think we would ever sell them, but I was like, for us, for our kids, and the fact that I don't care, it just needs an eye for a photo, they might be plenty good for that. So we might try and 3D print some little eyes for little creations, because that's what the kids wanted me to do, was do all these fun, crafty things for them to keep. I'm not the biggest on all the time suck that stuff makes, but I was listening to another podcast, and I'm sorry, I don't remember which one it was, but they talked about how they created all these crafty things, and then they would play bingo, like at the holidays or whatever. And so the prize bin would be all those crafty things to go pick out things that you wanted. And I really, really liked that idea. And I think that might be where we go with all these little stuffies that the kids now want, is that they are going to go into a bin. And then when we have a game night and a fun time, if they earn prizes during that time, they can go pick something out from the prize box. So that's just kind of an idea. I'd love to do it on a bigger scale, but that's just kind of an idea at the moment that is going on in my head, and not quite related to all the alongs and things going on, but that is the Monday Makes, so to speak, Monday Makers episode for this week of the things that I'm planning on for this month and things that are going on here. For the personal life update, I do have a senior in high school, so these videos may get a little short and sparse here in the future. We'll see how well I can keep to this Monday Makes part of the plan. But I also have a freshman in high school, and today, but this year they are on the same esports team. They play League of Legends. And actually, my freshman has been playing it longer than the senior. The senior decided to get into it last year when tryouts were coming up for League of Legends. And right now, they are undefeated, so we're excited about that. And they are coming down to the end of their scheduled season. They have a hard match, probably their only actual competition for this year, this next tomorrow on Tuesday. And then they have a scrimmage on Wednesday, and then next week they have state. And so it's going to be interesting and entertaining. Oh, and tomorrow they also go to a workshop at at a local university, a private university. And that is going to be exciting, that they'll actually get to workshop some things and get some work done and learn how to be a better team player, I guess, for this esports thing. But it was just kind of fun because they even just created a space for the freshmen to participate in this varsity sport that didn't exist before my sons tried to work together. So I've been super proud of them. They don't think it's a big deal, but our senior high, so to speak, is just 10, 11, 12. And the 8th and 9th grade are in their own building. And so the 9th grader has to get over to the high school. And it's, a good mile and a half probably away from his middle school. And they had to allow for the freshmen to even participate in those varsity sports when he joined the team. So it was just kind of exciting. They didn't think they did a big thing, but I'm like, you changed the school system. You made them make esports available to all of the freshmen in the school district, not just you and your brother working together on a project, because that's how it was presented to them originally, is that they were just going to keep it on the down low that he was a freshman, I guess, but he's in high school. He qualifies to participate in their sporting system. But they did have to actually, I guess, make that adjustment into the esports. So I've been proud of them. I'm excited. I'm hoping that they can beat this other team. I'm hoping, though, that this other team does give them a run for their money, just so that they know how serious it can be, because they've kind of walked all over many of the other teams that are playing, because there's still skill in esports and there's skill outside of it, but it's just fun for me to watch them and actually get along. It's such a nice thing when your children actually get along and are pushing each other to excel in a place that Not a place that I can really relate to since it's a video game with not a lot of talking. Just, fighting. I understand the concept. I don't understand what all the characters do and all those fun things, but I'm enjoying the process of just being involved in their world. But anyways, that's what's going on for me this week, and I'll be back with you hopefully soon for another update. And as always, don't forget to hook the like button and subscribe. We'll talk to you later, guys.